Michelle's house in Mount Lebanon. Michele, how long have you been at this home?
About 18 years now.
Okay, 18 years. So let's just go right ahead and take a look. So we're at the corner of the property. You said this here is a sun garden, so it gets a lot of the afternoon sun?
It gets a lot of afternoon sun. I start to see the sun move in about this time, and then we'll have full sun for most of the afternoon until maybe about 5 or 6 in the evening.
Okay. And those coleus do good in those little baskets?
Yes, actually. I mean, obviously I have to water.
I was going to say you probably have to water them a couple
right.
times a day.
The water. This was a new structure this year, so we thought we'd raise some things up for a little more interest. But yeah, most of the palette in this bed is usually purples and pinks, and so these pops of reds are very new for me.
Okay. Yeah, it makes a nice focal point for this little area of the garden.
Right.
And then you also have this other piece of garden art over here. That's
right.
unique.
I have some interesting little pieces tucked away, throughout each flower bed, and that one I got years ago from a metal artist.
Really nice. So again, you have some peonies here.
Yes, quite a few peonies.
Is this brunnera?
Yes, yes, and that gets gifted every year.
Okay.
Because it spreads. I usually have 1 or 2 friends who want to do long alleyways through their country property, and I will lift 50 or 60 of them and just, gift them on.
Nice little blue flower in the springtime,
Oh,
right?
lovely. Thousands of little blue flowers.
They're nice because they're one of the first things to really start blooming in the springtime.
They are. They're really nice.
I love this pot of color right here in the midst of, the greenery, the coleus and the petunias in it. That's nice.
I think I would say my garden is probably one of those. I love to see where things are going to go, but at the same time, I also want to have definite control. So I do try very carefully to, wiggle in pathways and cut things back as necessary. But I also know sometimes where pops of color need to be. And I've loved this particular green, which came from Bednar's. It's just been beautiful in every pot I put them in, and I've really liked it.
You can't go wrong with a coleus.
No.
They're so colorful. And they do good in this afternoon sun, so that
Yes.
goes to show you not always is coleus just for the shade.
Right, right.
And now was this like a florist hydrangea here?
That was a florist hydrangea.
So that's interesting. A lot of times, we'll have those at Mother's Day or Easter time.
Right.
And people ask, can I put this in the garden? Will it keep coming back? So how long's that been there?
This has been here probably 5 years. And this year, every year, the purple seems to get deeper and deeper and richer.
Really pretty.
It's really nice.
I think that's probably a case of right plant in a right location, because
Yes.
sometimes those florist hydrangeas will come back for people.
Right, they're very happy there. Yeah, and I have another one that's over behind the peonies.
Yeah, I see that. Nice summer blooms for you. Being that this is the last week of July, so
Yes,
you get the stochasea there. You can see there's some pollinators on that.
right,
That's a nice summer blooming perennial.
that is a very nice plant, and I'm always looking for things that the bees will love, the butterflies will love. But
Is that a bulb over there, like the?
yes, they put elephant ears
Yeah.
in for, hopefully they'll get large and have some impact and height.
And then you lift.
And then I lift them, yes, and then I lift them. And I actually thought, just for a little nostalgia, right under the hanging coleus, I have old-fashioned 4 o'clocks that will
Yeah.
pop out pretty soon.
Very nice. Let's continue on over here. And you described your garden as like different rooms.
Yeah, almost like little different rooms.
Right. So we're moving on to the next
So
room.
now we're moving on, and again, these were Mother's Day roses
Okay.
from years and years ago, and they've been fairly happy here. In the spring, this is filled with, believe it or not, Siberian iris
Okay.
and some dapps, and you know, I try to have a little bit of color that just keeps going.
Right. Continuous
Yeah.
blooms through the season, because I see
Right.
you have like some columbine foliage here, so that was
Yes.
some spring color.
Yes, it was very nice, and a few lilies.
It's a nice ground cover here. Is this candy tuft?
Yes, that's candy tuft.
Very pretty.
And then I have the Sweet William is over in the bed near the deck.
Okay.
So this is candy tuft, and beautiful again in the spring. Lovely.
Yeah.
It's really sweet. And you know, so that, I think, well, spring obviously to me is just one of the happiest times of the gardening
Yeah.
year. It really is. Although this summer, for whatever reason, even with the heat, the plants have been happy. They really have.
We've had a lot of rain this year too, so I
Yes.
think that's helped for sure.
Yeah. And then this tree was my biggest conundrum because there's so much shade. I had no idea what to do. Grass was not growing. And so about 5 years ago, I filled it all with hosta.
Okay.
And they've been happy there. So, you know, some brunnera mixed in. And again, they all get thinned out. You know,
We have this gorgeous sycamore tree. It's over 100 years most likely.
yes.
And that's something a lot of people will ask us at the garden center is, what can I plant around the base of my tree? And it depends, you know, how shallow or deep the roots are of the tree, but
Right.
these hostas are obviously doing great.
They're doing really well. I split them every once in a while and move them to different beds, but you know, they're maturing nicely, they're doing well. I'm not gonna fuss with them too much because I leave plants where they wanna be happy, you
Yeah.
know, and try not to mess with that too much.
So what do we have over here?
This again is part sun, a little shade.
Okay.
Most of this hits afternoon sun, and that's why you're going to see mostly, you know, a perennial that will enjoy the sun, like the echinacea and the goosenecks. Now I'm very diligent because goosenecks can take off and run away from you, but I'm very diligent and I keep them contained to certain areas of the garden. You know, just to add a little bit of, they're very delicate. You want them to kind of add some of that as well.
Right.
And I've started collecting and putting in more lilies, so I'm doing a lot of that.
Okay. Yeah, so it's about lunchtime right now, so we have this sun hitting right here right now. Just to give an idea. And you have some balloon flowers over
Yes,
there.
I
That's
have-
a popular plant.
Yes, that is very popular, and they're doing really well there. As you walk up the path, you brush against lavender, so there's some scent,
Oh, that's nice.
so that's nice.
Good placement of a lavender, somewhere where along a pathway where you can enjoy it. Yeah, the goosenecks add a nice texture to it.
Yeah,
the airiness
they
of
do.
them. Now, did this geranium already bloom?
Yes,
Probably,
it did.
yeah.
It was beautiful.
That's an
It was a
earlier
really
summer one.
soft, kind of pink, not quite lavender. And that was early summer. But again, the greenery has stayed lush. And, you know, we have to thank the rain for that. And, you know, so that stays sunny. But then I've got this whole challenge
Now we're
of
moving to another room
total
of
shade.
shade as we walk through this beautiful arbor here with what's growing on
This
it.
is a double blooming wisteria.
Oh,
So you can,
gorgeous.
yeah, there's maybe one or two that are still popping out. But yeah, it will come back at the, usually end of June, beginning of July. So
Okay.
it's still blooming a few little blooms. So
How
that's
long's it
kinda
been
nice.
there?
This has been here almost 10 years.
Okay.
Yes. And again, you have to kind of keep it in its place.
I was going to say they can get pretty invasive.
They can.
You need a pretty tough structure to grow wisteria on.
Right, and this has hung in there and it's done very well, and I'm, very happy with it. It's really pretty at night because I have the lights through it. So that really adds a nice little touch at night, so it kind of allows it to shine even then. But yes, this entire area becomes, a shade challenge, but the hosts have done beautifully.
Some nice sweet woodruff here.
Yes, yes.
Nice ground cover with the springtime white flowers.
Yeah, that's really been, and I've just let that be happy, and it's come in really nice. But yeah, we've done all of this. And again, like I said, I have little bits and pieces of fun things. There's my spider up on the wall.
Yeah, a nice way to personalize your garden, and it's fun to find the different unique pieces of art that you can incorporate to just put your little personal touch on there.
Yeah, it's really been
It's like some
fun.
anemone leaves there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Oh, I know, so pretty. And again, I've been very conscious of how to incorporate some yard art. I'm not a big statue kind of person, but I like, some interesting pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in these containers, these are boxwood.
Yeah, they're
That's
boxwoods.
Yeah, the leaf shape is unique. I love this boxwood. Do you know
Yeah.
what it's called?
That
Already
one
knows.
I'm not positive, but it's, like I said, it's happy there.
They do good in the containers and
They do
overwinter.
really well, and they overwinter beautifully. And then there's just this little area tucked back here. I try to use every inch to the best of my ability. So this
I
is
love
where
these
I've
stepping
got
stones.
my great water barrel.
Yeah. Oh, these are nice. They're not even stemmed. They're like nice and squishy, huh?
Yes.
In the rain barrel there.
Yeah.
How do you like using that?
You know what? It has saved me in dry summers. It really has.
I bet.
It really has. And I'm hoping actually to move it. I'm going to move it more towards the corner and do a rain chain down into it, which I think will look much nicer.
Yeah, we've been seeing more and more interest in rain barrels at the greenhouse, and we've been doing some workshops too, and getting people to understand how to use them and install them at home. So
Right. Well, I
that's great.
put mine in back in 2014. And like I said, when we have dry summers, it's wonderful. I hardly ever turn on the water at the hose.
Nice.
I just use this.
You just fill up your watering
Fill up
can
a
at
watering
it
can and, make sure things are happy.
Oh, I like your fish here. That's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
And then I saw this other one
Here's
over
my
here.
other one, yeah.
You just find these at
Wherever I
unique places.
am.
You just pick things up.
I could be visiting friends in another city, and
Yeah.
we might go to a garden store or a gift shop or something, and that's what we do. We look for garden things.
Yeah. What's this here?
That actually was supposed to be mache, which is a kind of lettuce seed
Oh,
leaf.
okay.
But I think that the seed packet was misnamed. So I've let it grow just because it's green and
Yeah.
it looks lovely and happy.
See what it does, right?
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
If it flowers, great. And then this I put together just as a whimsy.
Yeah.
It's really nothing great as far as gardening or anything, because it's just, again, it's a whimsy. But I've really liked this area back here. I put the arborvitae in years ago because I wanted some some seclusion,
Okay.
and it would help break the noise.
Yeah.
Which I think is important for people to realize when they've got an urban kind of garden, that they can use what's available to them to help with sound barrier. It doesn't have to be some big fence, it doesn't have to be anything like that. It can be something that's natural and that helps.
Yeah, and I think it adds to that feeling, like you said, like the different rooms, like it kind of, you know, it helps the garden to flow. So now we're in this other room here with the deck and the table, the seating, where I'm sure you enjoy
Oh yes.
meals and have
And this
company
has
over.
been like a godsend when we had to be outdoors for a lot of things.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
we were having meals out here with neighbors well into October, you know, last year, so that we could see people,
Right.
you know, so it was great. It was
Nice.
wonderful.
Nice potting bench over here.
Yes, I've had that for, oh my goodness, probably almost as long as the house. I bought it right after I bought the house. And it really isn't used for potting, but
It looks nice though. That's a nice jade plant, so I guess you take that inside
yes,
in the
I
winter.
do. In the winter, it goes in. It has a home inside in the winter. And then I do a lot of container stuff, you know, herbs. I just cleaned out a large container that had peas in it for spring and you know, things like that. But
Let's move along to another room here.
yeah, so we'll go
Ooh.
down through.
So pretty.
Those are all
Love that
benders.
container mixture. Euphorbia and some petunias. Gerber daisy's doing good.
Yeah, they're all very happy there. But yeah, this has always been kind of, you know, tucked in here. Wasn't sure where to go with some of this. There had been a tree there at one time. So we just, again, you know, it's like, what can I do different?
Love the placement of the pot on the stump there with the little rabbit statuary.
Right. I mean,
So nice.
people can use what they have, you know, in their landscape, whether they realize it or not.
Right, it's like, oh, what do I do with this stump in this corner? Well, put a nice container of plants on it and some statuary. Decorate it.
So this was interesting. When I first moved here, there was nothing in here. It was bare. And so over the years, again, I've let nature take its course a little bit with the ivy, and then I put in the hostas. And believe it or not, this was a bird gift,
Oh,
honestly,
gosh.
from a seed.
wow.
And that was kind of fun.
Yeah. Nice little surprise there.
Yes. And over the years, this is, you know, obviously kind of changed a little. It depends on, you know, if my neighbors trim the tree or whatever with sun, but almost everything is happy here. You know, it's really pretty happy.
Nice touch with the pots of geraniums. You know, placed throughout.